Hi, I'm Matt for HeroClix, and I'm here to talk about my 400-point soldier team. And I know you're like, Matt, you make soldier teams all the time. And I'm like, I do make soldier teams all the time. I'm using a lot of familiar players from my soldier teams. I'm adding a newer player that we just got that I think just enhances the soldier keyword quite a bit. And I'm pretty excited. An interesting caveat, this event, the judge brought a bunch of maps with orange rules, and you had to play by the orange rules, and there were a bunch of weird stuff, a bunch of obscure stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Star Trek maps that I don't have. I wish I had after playing on some of these have like really awesome like orange text that I think would just be a blast to play against. So let's get started about my team. Alright, so this is the first person in my soldier team, the only real new member, and the only reason I put him first is because he is the newest member, and everything I've said before about my other soldiers, and they are schnazzy. But anyway, Element Man, soldier, he's got pick power. I can either pick as a free action a standard attack power or standard defense power. So like early on I can pick invincible, waiting as I sneak up on my opponents. As I get closer I can use pulse wave. I can do all sorts of fun stuff. And yeah, he is phenomenal. He's got the Outsider's team ability, so I can be like, I'm blocking your damage. Or I'm blocking your attack, so anyone's super strength isn't going to hit me. It's really snazzy. I love him a lot. I've played him a lot in the sealed events we've been doing lately, and he's been phenomenal. So I was really excited to use him in Constructed, and I'm so stoked. I can't wait to see what he does for me. My big main attacker besides him was Prime Dr. Spectrum, because he is amazing. He's got toughness, he's got barrier, he's got a trait that when he attacks a single opposing character, increases attack value by +1 for each different colored power they have on their dial. So I mean, getting +3 is so easy to do. So I mean, looking at 14 attack, phenomenal. He's got 3 damage, he's got a special power that says that he can't KO anything, like put it to its last click. No biggie, totally cool with that. Yeah, it's snazzy. I love this guy, dude. He's so good. It sucks that he's so good because there's also a ton of really awesome soldier keyworded primes, so it's hard to find the right one to play on a soldier theme team when you've got so many good primes. Hitting support up, I've got, not sort of support, also a secondary attacker, Rocket Raccoon, tiny, 11 energy explosion, 6 range, that crazy prob that lets you reroll stuff. That's not prob control. So I was like, yes. Of course, I've got Jason of Sparta to carry all my dudes, or all my non-flying dudes, and make them untargetable the first turn. And of course, I got General Lane, because General Lane's got leadership that can pull tokens off anybody with the keyword, and since it's soldier, all soldiers. He's got the police team ability, he's got sidestep, he's got willpower, he's got the ability to give everybody with the shared keyword with him the Superman enemy team ability, which means basically with some nice sidesteps, I can give outwit to virtually everybody on my team. It is a really tight team, I really like it a lot. That's why I keep using the same figures over and over and over again. I did have 10 points left over, so I ran Booster Gold, his ID card, for his crazy probs. He can prob himself, he can prob again, and then he gives everybody adjacent to him, you know, prob with their attack rolls, which so much prob, pretty snazzy. I brought her and her card, but I forgot her ID card, so it was really super embarrassing. I didn't even use it, so I didn't get a chance to use her. I was 5 points underbuilt. And Jewel, she's got the protection from outwit when everybody adjacent, which I thought would be useful. And then she's got outwit when she comes into play at 25 points. Anybody can call her in, so I was hoping to use her. But it really helps if you bring all the stuff you need to play to your event to make your team and see how your team works. So the first team that I played against was a Secret Society team, and there was Monsieur Mola on the brain, Crazy Quilt, Black Adam at his lower point dial, and the Magician. Now, we played on this crazy Yu-Gi-Oh map that, not Yu-Gi-Oh, crazy Star Trek map that had a bunch of unbreakable blocking terrain smack dab in the middle, and then this orange text all around that called the event horizon. It was a black hole, and if you stopped your movement in there, you had to roll a dice, and on a 1 through 2 you took 1 unavoidable damage, and then on a 3 through 6 you got to move an additional number of squares equal to that number that you rolled. Now this, of course, is not the Star Trek map because I do not own it. I didn't own any of the maps that we used that night, so this is hard for me to recreate it. But basically, my opponent went first, and he moved his dudes up, did some neat stuff because he has the 3D objects and stuff like that. And I used Jason of Sparta to move up all my people that he could carry, and kind of ring in as best I could. I can't really recreate it, but it was definitely a better lockdown of my guy, so that my opponent couldn't swing in and smash up. So my opponent couldn't swing in and smash up Dr. Spectrum. He retreated, but not far enough away, because like he kind of went like this. Again, this is so hard, I don't have the right map. And kind of, these guys went back here. But it wasn't far enough away so that I could pick Pulse Wave with Dr. Spectrum, and then Running Shot, Pulse Wave, Energy Explosion onto Monsieur Mullah. And that Energy exploded 3 onto the Wizard, which jacked him up pretty good. I brought my team over with Jason of Sparta again, pushing him, basing him, and yeah, it was then just outwitting, and I eliminated Monsieur Mullah and them first, and the Wizard pretty fast, and the game ended pretty fast after that. My second opponent of the night was the Thanos Throne at 100 points. Which Running Shot, Pulse Wave, 3 damage. And then that crazy 13 attack 5 damage Thanos, which I do not have, so he'll be played by the Guardians of the Galaxy Thanos. I do not remember what map that was on. It was definitely a weird map. I don't remember the orange text had no effect on the game. It was nothing. It was crazy. Again, I don't have the right map for this match up. It didn't really play an effect in the position. The first thing my opponent did was play a battlefield condition that said, hey, you're poor teamwork, I think it was called. You can't carry and you can't TK. Which just jacked me up something royal, because that was the whole crux of Jason of Sparta, carrying my team around. And I moved my dudes up, because he won the map roll. He chose to go second. I moved my dudes up in a position that I knew he couldn't get a single target pulse wave off. So first thing he did was pop Thanos and Thanos Thrones, running shots, and then just one shot Jason of Sparta. I did a bunch of character positioning, shifting, and stuff like that, and I got in a shot on the Thanos Throne, even though it wasn't hindering and stuff like that, with Rocket Raccoon. But I was just trying to get him in position so I could pick Psychic Blast, and with PD enhancement from General Lane, take a shot at the Thanos Throne. This, of course, can't, because of his special power, he can't KO the Thanos Throne, so Thanos Throne was on his last click, and my opponent popped out Thanos. During his turn, I based him with Element Man. Well, then he just based my team over here and started picking off my team. I poisoned the throne, started tricking my way back, and he was outwitting stuff perfectly because he kept outwitting my pick-a power on both of my 2 people with pick-a power, and that Thanos always had impervious the entire time. So like I had to pulse wave, I couldn't break away for psychic blasting, but eventually I was able to whittle him down and win that game. And my last opponent of the night was Pick-a Power Batman at full. The Target exclusive Superman, which I do not have, so he'll be substituted in. And the the yellow battery, that makes, it's -2 to my attack when attacking a higher point character. And yeah, that was a lot of fun too. I hate to sound like a broken record, but again, I didn't have the map. It was the one with the 2 cubes, the space one with the 2 cubes where that had energy in the middle, where in the middle squares you couldn't attack, but you could just break away and move through stuff like that. I made him go first. He immediately equipped, you know, stuff on Superman and Batman, flew them into stealth. I snuck my dudes around. And we traded a bunch of blows. I was actually really happy for this mission because with the Outsiders team ability, I could Outsiders myself and not be dinged by the yellow battery. So I was pretty stoked by that. I came to blows. I KO'd Superman. He KO'd Dr. Spectrum pretty fast and Jason the Sparta pretty fast. And eventually it got to the point where I had finally based his Superman. He had not... he had knocked Element Man to his last clicked, and Rocket Raccoon to a fairly useless click. He only had 3 damage, and I couldn't get 2 damage. And I couldn't get through his reducers. On his last click, Element's got Flurry, 12 attack, and 3 damage, and he had Superman had that special impervious that he healed if he had action tokens when he was on outside map, and that was an outside map, so that was no good for me. I had a token on Element Man. Element Man was on had a token on him, and I was like, if I don't push, because his Superman had 1 token, I will probably die next turn. So I took it to risk. I flurried. He had a 17, so like I knew I was gonna hit. I hit him. He immediately rolled. He rolled his 6 for the impervious rollout. I was like, Rocket Raccoon, prob that, because that's the one thing he could do it. And he rolled again and rolled another 6. I was like, gosh darn it. So I swung with Element Man. Needed a 5, rolled a 4, and that was the push that took him out. And I was like, okay, come on, Rocket Raccoon. If you can roll a critical hit, we can pull this off. I was like, rolled it. I need a miracle. I need a miracle. It was a critical miss. So Rocket pushed out and took pushing damage, and that was game. He just was like, I eat you, and that was a good game. But yeah. So that was my team, and that was my performance. Interested to hear what you thought about my team or what changes you would have made to my team. You probably just want to say, quit playing soldiers, and I'm like, if they quit making awesome soldiers, I wouldn't do it. I wish they'd give this kind of love to my favorite keyword of martial artist. That would be phenomenal, but no, they want to hold it back and like kind of stinge me out on stuff that I'm really interested in. But anyway, soldiers are phenomenal. I'm just interested to hear what changes you would have made to my team, or what you would have built if you were playing this 400-point event where your judge is going to throw some surprise maps on you and you have to play by orange text. Please leave them in the comments below. Please like and share and subscribe. Thank you for watching. This has been Matt with Heroic Tactics, and may all your dice roll hot.